G'day kids and grown-ups. If you are loving watching and learning with Ozzie, it would be amazing if you could please do me a really big favour and just tell anybody else that you think might enjoy it too. In the meantime, enjoy this brand new episode, and as always, stay keen.
Ozzie, 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 oi! Ozzie is a friend of yours and he's a friend of mine.
G'day Ozzie. G'day Ozzie. G'day Ozzie. G'day Ozzie. G'day Ozzie.
G'day kids, Ozzie here. We've got a great book today on Storytime with Ozzie. It's an Australian classic. It's called Possum Magic. So let's see if you can identify and recognise some of the Aussie places and animals and food throughout the book. It's a really good book. I reckon you're going to enjoy it. So let's get started. It's by Mem Fox and Julie Vivas. Once upon a time, but not very long ago, deep in the Australian bush lived two possums. Their names were Hush and Grandma Poss. Grandma Poss made bush magic. She made wombats blue and kookaburras pink. She made dingoes smile and emus shrink. But the best magic of all was the magic that made Hush invisible. Look, there's Hush. There's only Hush's head. Now we can't see Hush at all. What adventures Hush had! Because she couldn't be seen, she could be squashed by koalas. Well, that wouldn't be that much fun, would it? Because she couldn't be seen, she could slide down kangaroos. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Because she couldn't be seen, she was safe from snakes. Which is why Grandma Poss had made her invisible in the first place. But one day, quite unexpectedly, Hush said, "Grandma, I want to know what I look like. Please, could you make me visible again?" "Of course I can," said Grandma Poss, and she began to look through her magic books. She looked into this book and she looked into that. There was magic for thin and magic for fat. Magic for tall and magic for small. But the magic she was looking for wasn't there at all. Uh-oh, what if she can't find the magic? Grandma Poss looked miserable. "Don't worry, Grandma," said Hush. "I don't mind." But in her heart of hearts, she did. All night long, Grandma Poss thought and thought. The next morning, just before breakfast, she shouted, "It's something to do with food. People food, not possum food. But I can't remember what. We'll just have to try and find it." So later that day, they left the bush where they'd always been to find what it was that would make Hush seen. They jumped on their bike. They're going for a ride to try and find it. They ate Anzac biscuits in Adelaide, Mornay and Minties in Melbourne, steak and salad in Sydney, and pumpkin scones in Brisbane. Yummy. Hush remained invisible. "Don't lose heart," said Grandma Poss. "Let's see what we can find in Darwin." It was there, in the far north of Australia, that they found a Vegemite sandwich. Yummy, it's one of my favourites. Grandma Poss crossed her claws and crossed her feet. Hush breathed deeply and began to eat. "A tail! A tail!" shouted both possums at once, for there it was, a brand new visible tail. It's working! The Vegemite sandwich has brought the tail back. Later, on a beach in Perth, they ate a piece of pavlova. Yummy, that's also one of Ozzie's favourites. Hush's legs appeared. So did her body. You look wonderful, you precious possum, said Grandma Poss. Next stop, Tasmania. And over the sea they went. Look at Hush. You can see almost all of Hush again. In Hobart, late one night in the kitchens of the casino, they saw a lamington on a plate. All of Ozzie's favourite foods. Hush closed her eyes and nibbled. Grandma Poss held her breath and waited. It's worked, she cried. And she was right. Hush could be seen from head to tail. Grandma Poss hugged Hush and they both danced. Here we go round the lamington plate till early in the morning. From that time onward, Hush was visible. But once a year on her birthday, she and Grandma Poss ate a Vegemite sandwich, a piece of pavlova, and half a lamington, just to make sure that Hush stayed visible forever. And she did. And look at all the other animals joining in, eating all the goodies, all the people food, all of Ozzie's favourite food. Have you tried all that food? And look, here's a map. That's where they went and ate all the different food around the country. There's some minties in Melbourne. And you're coming all the way up here to Darwin. Pavlova in Perth on the beach. To Tasmania, where they had the lamingtons. Yummy. There you go, kids. A bit of possum magic. What a fun book that is. It's an absolute Aussie classic and it's definitely one of my favourites. Hope you loved it, kids. We'll see you on our next Storytime with Ozzie. Until then, stay keen. Hey kids, did you have lots of fun today watching Ozzie? I hope so. Did you know that we've got a heap of Ozzie episodes on our YouTube channel? If you haven't already, go back and have a scroll through. I reckon you'll find some others that you absolutely love. And while you're there, why don't you hit subscribe? That way you won't miss out on any of our new videos that we bring out. We'll see you again soon, kids. Until then, stay keen. Oh, and by the way, did you happen to find the hidden Ozzie icon in that video? Yeah, make sure you look closely because they're in every single video. That's right. Stay keen, kids.
Aussie, 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 oi! Aussie is a friend of yours and he's a friend of